Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I made my first video back in 2023 after passing the CCNA exam on my first attempt, and I felt the need to give back to the YouTube community who gave me helpful information, without which I wouldn't have passed the exam and gotten to where I am now. So you can watch that video somewhere here in the link. Forgive the poor quality. I was still new to YouTube when I made that video, but I believe the information is still useful and relevant to pass the exam in 2025. My videos mostly will be dedicated to beginners or freshers, or like fresh graduates who are looking for ways to break into the tech field, the tech industry. And I've noticed, like, when I was searching, there wasn't enough useful information out there to help me make an informed decision. So I'm trying to put as much information as I can out there to help you. In this video, I want to talk about how obtaining the CCNA provided me with more opportunities and career options, and how it could help you too. So a brief history about me is I hold a bachelor's degree in electronics engineering, and I struggled to find a job in Nigeria. If you're Nigerian, you will understand how it is. You know what I'm talking about. So I started to look for ways to further my research and leave Nigeria. After doing a lot of research online, I came across universities in Italy that offer fully funded scholarship programs. And then I did a cost analysis comparing with other countries like the UK and USA, and it made more sense for me to basically study for free in Italy. So yes, I had to learn the language, because living in most European countries, it demands that you learn the language in order to thrive, because you can't survive without learning the language. And I didn't see it as a disadvantage. I saw it more as an advantage and an opportunity to add the knowledge of an international language to my portfolio. So I enrolled in a master's degree program in Telecommunications Engineering in Italy, at the University of Cassino in Italy, and it was a wholesome learning experience for me, because I got to meet most of the best people I've met in my life, and so things were not looking so good in Nigeria, so I had to do all I could to get a job after my studies and remain in Europe. So in my final year of study, I began to look for jobs on LinkedIn. I scrolled through entry-level IT jobs, and while scrolling, I noticed a trend in the requirements, which is that most of the entry-level jobs, they require the certifications like CCNA or CompTIA in order to stand out from the crowd, because of course there are a lot of people applying for jobs, and in order to stand out, you need to have something more. You need to be able to give something more. In my opinion, like, even if you have a few years of experience outside Europe, it'd be easier for you to land an interview and land a job if you had a certification in your CV to help you and to like boost your image, kind of. Or even if you have a master's degree, it's also helpful. So over the course of a year, I applied to so many jobs to kind of build my interview experience, to get enough practice with interviewers. And of course, I failed so many interviews, but I wasn't bothered, because I was just trying to get enough experience. So when I was finally ready to work, then the interview would be pretty easy for me. So what I did, while I took the free CCNA course from Jeremy's IT lab on YouTube, and I practiced the lab and the simulation exams with there is a software called Boson. You have to pay for it, but I think, like I mentioned in my previous video, if you use Boson, you get three trials, 3 attempts, and it's paid, of course, but I think it helps boost your confidence and gives you a better chance of passing the exam. So I practiced with Boson. I did some labs from Jeremy's course, and I passed the certification CCNA, and I uploaded some labs on YouTube and LinkedIn, and I noticed that I started to get more calls for interviews. even though it was still a bit difficult because of the language. But I just did my best, and I also began to apply to companies outside of Italy. And I got an interview with the company I currently work with in Malta here, and that's how I got here. So basically my point is, for this video, if you're a beginner, if you're a fresh graduate, you need to do the following, and I'm going to list them in the description. So first thing, you need to figure out what field of IT you're interested in. It could be network administration, system administration, cybersecurity, cloud computing, software development, data analytics, or IT support, or NOC, network operations, which is the field I'm in, or data center engineering. I digressed, but I'm going to make a separate video on which roles are best for entry levels, because most of the roles I mentioned earlier, they're not easily accessible to beginners because you need more like solid knowledge and experience. So it's best to start from the ground up. So start from some entry levels, and I'll go deeper into it in another video. So if you want to see that, just subscribe and stay tuned for that. So like I said, my first point is figure out the field of IT you're interested in. IT is so broad, it has so many fields. And then the second point is you have to build your fundamentals, build strong fundamentals. You have to understand what it is you're doing, why you're doing it, how to do it better. You have to strengthen your knowledge in the core areas required in your field. So if you're into software development, you should learn at least one programming language, probably Python, JavaScript, Java or C++, C#. If you're in other fields like cybersecurity, AI, cloud computing, data science, you have to find out the foundational courses in those areas and study them and build your knowledge. So I'm in a NOC role, so I can give more information about NOC. And if you're interested in the networking field or network administration, system administration, I can give you some idea about that. You basically have to learn the fundamentals of networks, routing, IP addresses. In fact, to get a good foundation, I'd recommend just take the CCNA course or take another networking course like the CompTIA. So it helps build your foundation and boost your confidence, if you can see. So the third thing I would suggest is to get hands-on experience. I know it's difficult to get experience when you don't have a job, when you're searching for a job, but there are other things you can do. You can find a real project or an online project to work on. There are so many online projects like hackathons online, or the cloud resume projects. Just go online, you'll see them, or especially on YouTube. There's so many things. There are so many videos on YouTube. Like YouTube is very helpful. You can also find an internship, like a paid or unpaid internship. It can give you like hands-on experience and help build your credibility. So when you do all this, it kind of shows the recruiters that you are an enthusiastic learner, which is a necessary skill to thrive in tech, basically. And because the tech industry is like constantly evolving, so you need to keep studying, you need to keep learning as well. I posted my CCNA project years ago, but currently I'm studying for the Google Cloud certification, and I'll be posting a video about that. I'm going to do a project on that as well. So if you want to see that, just subscribe and you'll see it when it's out. The next thing, I think the fourth point now, is to learn industry relevant skills. There are some necessary tools in the tech space that you use. You should be aware of them even as a beginner. So you probably won't have enough experience, but you should be aware of them at least. Like there's some things you need to understand, and they might not be taught in college, so you need to learn on your own. You need to understand version control using Git or GitHub. You need to understand how to use ticketing systems like Jira. You need to understand a bit about cloud computing with AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. You need to know a little bit about databases as well, MySQL. You need to have an idea about infrastructure as code that's using Terraform. And basically you need to know how to work with Linux, because almost everything runs on Linux, as you'll find out when you join. So If you're interested in other fields, learn the important tools like, let's say if you're interested in UI, UX, you should learn Figma or Adobe. So the next thing I'll suggest is to build an online presence and network with people. You should have a strong presence on probably LinkedIn, Twitter, or even GitHub. They are very good. It's important to have an online presence. Like, it really helps. It helps the recruiters get to know you better as a person. Then the next thing I would suggest is, as number 6, is to apply smartly and prepare for interviews. So you shouldn't just, as a newbie, you shouldn't just apply to associate level roles or mid-level roles. You should apply to entry-level roles, of course. So start with entry-level positions. Apply for internships, apprenticeships, and use LinkedIn. Optimize your LinkedIn, optimize your CV. Make sure that your CV can beat the application tracking system, that's the ATS. Make sure your CV is ATS friendly, and prepare for the technical interviews as well. Like, always practice the most commonly asked questions and prepare your answers, like know how to answer them. So basically just understand the basics. And the last thing I would suggest is keep learning and stay resilient, because you need to stay updated with the industry trends. This is not mandatory, but I would suggest follow a few channels on YouTube, like a few tech blogs or YouTube channels. Some channels I can recommend are Network Chuck, you probably know him, and David Bombal and Jeremy's IT Lab. They post a lot of useful content. That's, if you're interested in networking, you can follow them. If you're interested in other fields, you can find who post like the most helpful videos and then follow them. Just watch their content, it's good. Also consider certifications like the Google Cloud. I know I've said this so many times, but it's very helpful to have one in your portfolio. Google Cloud, AWS, Microsoft CCNA certifications. Just equip yourself, learn more, and increase your knowledge. So another thing I can say is that I know it's a bit stressful, but rejections, you get a lot of rejections, and rejections are part of the journey. So just don't give up. See it as a learning experience and keep improving, keep applying. I think that's all for this video. If you found this useful, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you.